Hello and welcome to Luke-N-SHAE'S place. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm hopeful that you guys had a great day. And before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe. When you like, it puts us in the algorithm so that other viewers can see our content and we can grow our platform. Also, share. Why not share with friends so that way we can also another way to grow our platform, because when you share it with a friend or family member, it gets our content out there. And subscribe, because subscribing is that's they're very important to subscribe. So please subscribe, because that's how we really grow our platform, just so that everybody else gets notifications when we're posting, and you get notifications when we're posting live streams, and when we're just doing videos in general, you'll get notifications. Please like, share, and subscribe. How
If
you
you
doing,
like the
Luke?
content, by all means, share. If you really enjoying the content, share. Definitely like, subscribe, and share. Go ahead.
Yes, that is important. It's important. How are you doing, Luke? How was your day?
Oh, I'm blessed and doing well. Thanks for asking. How was your day today?
My day was good. Yeah, my day was good. I was blessed to have a day off. That was nice. Nice little day off. So,
A day off is always good. We're gonna get
yeah,
it.
I needed that. So, yeah, I'm smiling. All smiles over here.
I feel you. That's important. We got a banger red heart letter tonight. We want you guys to. We definitely need participation, so we're gonna let the room fill a little bit before we get started. We're gonna see if who actually want to check in. But we want your responses more so than anything. We need you to tell us what you think. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you would do and what your mindset is. We're podcasters, but we want to do this thing where we include you into the circle to get these type of interesting discussions and see where we go from there.
Yes. Please feel free to comment. Your input does matter. Again, just to keep you involved with us when we're doing posting content. Yeah, right in the comment section, you can add your comment while we're doing a live, and we'll reply to it. We'll read it and reply to it. So, yeah, your
Definitely.
interaction is important as well. So, yeah, so I'm looking forward to this red heart letter and to see what we have going on tonight.
Okay. You ready to start, or you ready for me to?
Oh yeah, I'm
You
ready
want to put
whenever
it up
you
on the
are.
screen, or you got it? You want to put it up on the screen here?
You can put it up on the screen and I can read it. You can put it up on the screen for our viewers, and I actually have the letter that was sent in on my end as well. I don't know if it might not be big enough, but let me see. So yeah, that looks like, yep, that's the same letter here. Okay, so all right, so for tonight's red heart letter. So we have an anonymous male in PA. So we have anonymous male in Pennsylvania who wrote to us, and it says, "Dear Luke and Shay, I am a 57-year-old married man with kids. I recently discovered through a conversation with my aunt on my dad's side of the family that I have an older brother. That secret was confirmed by my mom's sister, my other aunt, in a recent conversation. My question is, should I confront my parents about it or just let them think I don't know about it? Thank you so much for your advice. Signed, Brotherly Love."
Ooh, that's a deep one tonight. Wow, that's a
That
lot
is
to
a deep
unload
one.
right there.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's part of the letter. So there was another, because I couldn't fit the 2 pages, but the other part of the letter was he thought he was the only child. So that's another thing.
Well, yeah, like I said, that's why it's a lot to it's a lot of things to untangle in there because there's so much. whenever we get out here and it's like I said, I don't want to say deceit, but kind of like we're not being openly honest about everything and putting everything on the table. Yeah, that part of when you're, well, that could be a big part of it too, because it's tough dealing with stuff like that. Where it's like, okay, I had went all this time and I actually got a brother somewhere. So yeah, it's a big pill to swallow. Um, it's going to be tough to swallow, to be honest with you. And the reactions is going to be, like I said, the reaction is going to be different too, because how do you react when you actually meet the person or meet the brother after all this time? Is another question.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic.
Well,
I mean, sad all in one when you think about it, because if he did think he was the only child, and just finding out when you're 57 years old that you have a sibling, that's a lot of years that, and whatever the case of the parent. I don't know why I can't get this song out of my head, but I don't know, a scene from the movie Step Brothers just popped in my head, and it's when the brothers are packing up to leave because the parents are divorcing, and then the song plays, "Who Gets the Family Bible?" That just popped in my head. Who gets the family Bible? Because at this point, you thought you were the only child all this time. And now there is somebody that was out there actually born before you. You
yeah,
know, that's,
and that's a birthright thing.
yeah, that's
I
why
don't
that
know. In
song
some
popped in my
states,
head. Who gets the family Bible? Mm.
that's going to be like I said, that's going to be an interesting thing at some point in time that you're going to have to deal with. But yeah, like I
I'm
said, there's a lot to understand. The question is, was it done out of deceit? Was it the point of, because like I said, a lot of the fathers back then had extramarital affairs back then. So, or I don't know if he was married or I didn't hear that part, but I don't know if it was a marriage that was in place or, um, and he went out and got a child, or maybe he had a child prior to, which, um, maybe the relationship didn't work out. And I don't know. It's like I said, I just never understood why it was kept a secret. So, where was the secretness in this?
Yeah, that's my thing with that, the secret, and what the viewer the person who wrote in wants to know is, should they confront the parent? Hold on one second. Looks like
I
yeah,
think
and
you're
it
gonna
looks
have
like we
to.
have, hold on one second, let me read the chat. It says Harper, so he should first ask himself what he wants to gain by the confrontation. And lastly, good questions oh, okay, so tiny on my end. Good questions to consider, Luke. So yeah, that's true. So yeah, that's a tough one, because what are you going to gain from asking your parents if they hid it from you all these years? Is there a reason they didn't tell you that you had a brother? You're 57 years
Yeah,
old. It sounds like he, like, in the part that I couldn't fit it on there on the screen, that he wanted a sibling all his life. But to find out 57 years later that you actually have a brother, not
yeah.
from your parents telling you, but from your actual family members. So
But
it's
see,
like everybody around me knew I had a sibling except for me. That is hard.
that's why I feel like he's gonna have to at some point in time. I'm assuming it's a he. So at
Yeah,
some point in
it says
time,
that it says anonymous
okay.
male in
At
PA.
some
So it's
point in time, this person is going to have to confront the parents. There's going to have to be a conversation where we sit down and discuss this. However, it may be discussed, but you're going to have a discussion on this because, again, it's being that he's older. Okay, that I don't know because, like I said, I don't know the laws in Georgia, and I've been down here a long time. But like I said, that's another thing that you're going to have to deal with later on too.
well,
Um,
he's not from Georgia. It says he's from PA, Pennsylvania. So
Yeah,
whatever
I'm
the
saying, but I don't
laws
know
over
the
there.
rules in Georgia when it comes to the oldest because there's rules in each state for who gets when the parent passed away. who you were
Mm.
singing the song, "Who Gets the Bible?" I don't know
Yeah,
the
who
rules
gets
in
the
Georgia
family
for
Bible
who.
from Step
Yeah,
Brothers?
and see that's why but that's the point I was making is that I don't know. I know different states got different rules when it comes to the oldest. That's what I was saying. I don't know the ones in Georgia. I was going to quote the ones in Georgia, but I can't even quote those.
Wow. Mm-mm-mm.
But that's something to think about. And it's like I said, it's at some point in time he is going to have that discussion because that discussion is definitely needed to fix it because
Okay.
we got to
Some
know
it
for
looks like
sure.
Harper must have went and did some research. So in PA in Pennsylvania, it's the
See,
oldest sibling who gets the inheritance.
yeah, so that's what I'm
So
saying. That's
so
scary. Like I said,
so so even with that being said, if your parents hid that from you, and if you're thinking you're the only child, and not that people should be waiting on the inheritance from their parents, but someday we all have something in common. We're all going to pass away. So when that time comes, how messy will that be if if the older brother knows
yeah,
that his father exists and he finds out that his father passed away, he could actually go and try to get the estate and all that
yeah,
other
he
stuff.
gonna trump
That's
them.
messy.
And that's what we're saying that you would get trumped in that. That's what I'm. That's the whole process.
And
And here
imagine
you
your
are
child
thinking,
finding out that way. Like you're
yeah,
mourning your parent passing away, and now you're thinking, okay, well, I get to have my father's favorite hat, whatever. And here comes some guy you never seen saying, hey, that's my dad. Like, what do you mean that's my dad? That's sad.
but I'm trying to figure out why he wasn't growing up. Why the this son's mother never squawked about it or like took it because like I said, I mean she sat back, so it wasn't like it was a major problem because she didn't challenge it. Most of the time, I figured there will at least be a little bit of challenge to that, because I don't know the whole story. I just listening to what you said. I would wonder did anything else happen within there for this to play out the way it played out.
Yeah, because I mean, when you think about that, 57 years has gone by.
Yeah,
He's had his whole, a whole lifetime of not knowing that he had a sibling, and the parents. I mean, you have an older brother, so how is it that both parents? Okay, so I'm assuming it's the father's child, but if you both knew that, and you watched this little boy grow up and everything into a man, and it's like you. I have so many questions. Did you not think about that other child that was out there? And I don't know.
that's what I'm saying. It was a. I don't want to use deceit because I don't know him, but at the same time, it sounds like a bunch of deceit going on here. But I don't want to
Yeah.
call it that. I
That's
don't.
a
But
big secret. That's a big
yeah,
family secret that I'm trying to fathom that. Like who I don't know. That's I don't even know. Like if I were to go to my parents and how would you even start that conversation? Like, hey, mom and dad, because then you're going to be bringing in other family members. They're going to know that someone in the family mentioned it to you because there's no other way unless he does this. This is a good advice. There's so much DNA kits. If you don't want to bring your other families and get them involved, all you have to say is, I took one of those DNA kits and it's showing that I have a blood sibling out there. That's all he has to say. Because if he's 57, I'm assuming his parents are older. They probably don't know how that whole kit thing works. Just say, hey, I took the DNA, and I actually would take the DNA. I would do that. So if he wanted to connect with the person, but I would definitely, say something. It looks like we have hold on. Hold on. We have a couple wait, we got to go back up here. Looks like we have I want to go back and read the comments here. Harper, he will also need to get legal paperwork signed with a notary saying that he is their intended executor of estate to prevent any interference from let me see, newfound sibling. Wow, that's crazy. That sounds like a whole bunch of legalities going behind
Like I
this.
said, it's gonna be a fight.
Everything 49ers in post game reaction said in Georgia, the living children split inheritance equal when no one,
No
well,
will is made.
when no will is made. Okay. And then also, it's so tiny. In Georgia, with a will, the will states how inheritance will be distributed. Okay. So, yeah. So I guess he's answering for your question. You said you didn't know how Georgia, their laws work with that.
Yeah, because
So
that's gonna be a key factor in that whole thing. Because, like I said, I don't know if you remember, Frankie Lyman had the same situation with the many wives, and so they could
Lyman,
never decide who was going to get his inheritance after he passed. So it was a big fight going back and forth, and they had to prove who was actually married to him the
at the
longest.
time of, yeah,
Yeah.
the
So
first,
and
they
that
had
right
to
there,
figure out who the first wife was, right?
yeah, who was actually the first wife, because
That's
they was all that he was so close with all the women that he was with that they couldn't tell who was the original wife. And because he married without getting divorced, which was illegal, but it caused a big stir, because now you got to prove who was actually his wife at the time,
his
the
first
original wife.
wife.
Because the other two wives did not count, because he couldn't get married if he never got a divorce from the
While
first
he
one.
was still married. That's the only way she was able to win that. But what a mess that is. Can you imagine when you're being laid to rest and you leave all that turmoil behind? And for our person who wrote in for our red heart letter, thank you so much for reaching out to us about this. And I'm sorry that you're going through this because, just as for myself, yeah, I love having siblings. And I don't know, at my age, to know, okay, I had a sister out there or a brother, and it's like all these years I could have been, you know, in a relationship with them. If I want to know if I have nieces and nephews and things like
Oh yeah,
that.
but
And
that's what I'm saying. I would seek that advice, but I also would go to my parents to confirm it, to make sure that this is factual. And then I would go about trying to find, or at least to build some type of relationship with the person, or try to get to know the person. I could
and
see
Luke,
that happening.
yeah, real quick, let's put the letter back up there for anybody who's now tuning in, so we can read it over again for them so that they can catch up to what we're talking about here. And I'll read it on my end. But can you post it back up there? So we had a anonymous male reach out from Pennsylvania, and Luke is going to get that posted for our viewers. But while he's doing that, I'll just start reading it on my end. So it says, Dear Luke and Shay, I am a 57-year-old man married with kids. I recently discovered through a conversation with my aunt on my dad's side of the family that I have an older brother. That secret was confirmed by my mom's sister. So let me stop right there because not only has an aunt reached out to him on his father's side and actually said that to him, but then the mother side of the family, it's her sister said, yes, you have a brother. So
Hmm.
that's two different sides of the family that are both saying the same thing. And then it says, my question is, should I confront my parents about it or just let them think I don't know about it? Thank you for your advice. Signed, Brotherly Love.
As I said, you're still gonna have to have a conversation with the parents, because those are the actual two that actually really know, and everything else would be considered speculation until you actually sat down and talked to them. Because then, I mean, I don't know, like I said, that's the real thing you're going to have to do, because the parents are the only two that actually have ocular proof that this is your brother. So, I know the aunts, and, the aunts can say things and can do things. And I'm not saying they're not telling the truth. I'm just saying you got to go straight to the horse's mouth when you want the right answer from
Yeah.
that person. And that's why I said that you're going to have a long talk with that process right there, because like I said, and because even down to the father did the father take care of the boy over the years? Because
That's a good question.
how that played out, and because like I said, who knows what's already written in a will form for that? Because again, if the father's acknowledging the son, then over the years he had to also have taken care of the son. So
Yeah.
that's another story that you would have to run into there. But like I said, all of that has to be sit. I would go and sit down with my parents and have a conversation with them. And I
Yeah.
don't know if that's what he would want to do, but at this point in time, I would go down and have a long talk with him on these things, because these things have to be hammered out. You have to get to the bottom of it. You don't
Yeah.
want you don't want to do this in the time of death. You want to do this before any of this ever happened, so that the
Right
people
now.
who knows the truth can tell you the truth and not
And
speculate, not
yeah.
speculation. So
And
yeah, so
also, so
that would be,
there needs to be some healing. So I agree 100%, some healing, because if there's hurt going on, and it sounds like in his letter there is, you know, there needs to be some forgiving, some that process needs to start now. And let me just read Harper, the difficult conversation needs to happen either way. So yes, that's the same thing Luke was saying. And it says,
yeah.
and she also said here, Harper says it will make things less messy later on, which is the same thing that you touched on. It will, because I just can't imagine laying my parents to rest at the time where my parents, at different times when they passed away, the last thing that somebody wants to think of is, oh, oh, by the way, there
Yeah,
was another sibling that you guys didn't know about, and here comes like, who are you? And
or
now
fighting for
your parent
legalities
is
over money.
gone, and you can't even ask questions when they're gone. And this is
Yeah,
a case, this is one of those things where what's done in the dark. Because even though it's 57 years later, he's finding out. I don't know how much older his sibling would have been or is today, but it's the same. What's done in the dark comes to the light. So people who are thinking that they're taking some things to their death, and I'm not saying some people weren't able to take some secrets to their death, but it's coming out now, and I feel like God, he works in mysterious ways, and that was meant for him to know. Because if he wasn't meant to know that he has a sibling, then it would have been hidden all this time. His parents would have been laid to rest, and they would have took that secret with them. But finding out that you have a sibling at 57, I'm thinking about all those years where you thought you were the only child, though, and now you're finding out that you weren't. Wow, that
you
is
know what?
kind of.
I think I could get past the only child thing. I think I could get past that. But the issue that I'm gonna have is now I got a brand new brother that's older than me. That's gonna be the pill that's hard to swallow. I could get past that, the whole part of that, but so many years that were lost that I could have, you know, just for the sake of playing or growing up or having
Yeah,
some of the same things, or coming together in the summertime or getting together. That's what I'm saying. These things were all missed out on,
yeah,
and so that's why I said it's such a mystery around why this was kept a secret. That's when I use the word deceit, because this was kept a secret for all of this time, and nobody discussed it, nobody put it out there, or like even to the point of like at 15, at least let me go look for him, because he would have
yeah.
been what, about 19 at that time, or just that whole this time is totally missed out, and you don't get a second chance to do it again. So that's the part right there.
And it's sad. You know what? It's almost a shame, when
Yeah,
you
it's
think
more of
about
that.
that. And I know there's not a law for that where, okay, you have to tell your kid. But I think of all the laws that have been changing. I mean, even grandparents have rights now to their grandchildren and things like that. Now, think of a child, like you just said, where he might have been longing to have a brother, to do sports with, or ask him advice. If his
Yeah,
brother's older, he might have had questions as a teenager that he didn't want to go to his parents. So knowing you had an older brother and you couldn't call on him, and what is to become
no,
of that now? It's
that's the
like
whole
all
thing,
those
because
years washed.
that's what I'm saying, because that's what happened with me. Because I have an older brother. That's why I became a Cowboy fan. He was a Cowboy fan first. I
Oh
became a
boy.
Milwaukee Buck fan because he was a Milwaukee Buck fan. Okay? But those are the things that happen when you're growing up. The things that you share. I always looked up to my big brother. I was always trying to compete with him. I was always trying to race him. You miss out on those things right there. Just to, from the competition standpoint of just knowing you got somebody in the world just like you or with the same,
And
DNA.
could probably look like him and everything. And then you missed out on weddings. You don't know if your older brother's married. Like I said, you don't know if you have nieces and nephews out there. It's sad. And this is messy
Yeah.
too, because people should be ashamed of themselves, because this is how people. Imagine if you passed each other in life, you cross paths and you don't even know that's your brother, but you're looking at this person like, well, he sure resembles my father. But you might have crossed paths in life and you don't even know. But
Yeah.
my heart goes out to him for that. But I definitely agree about having a conversation with your parents. Don't let them leave this earth without having that conversation, because I would want to know why that was kept from me. Because you had this whole image that I was the only child, and so what was the reason that he was a secret, this firstborn child from his father? What was the reason that he was a
Well,
secret?
that's what I'm saying with the aunt knowing and it's still not being discussed. See, that's what makes that whole story kind of weird because you all of this is going on and they know about it, but nobody said anything about it. So that's the question I really had is who was we hiding it from? What was the point of hiding this? What was the secret around this whole thing? Because if the people knew that I felt like shouldn't know, you wouldn't want your wife to know if you had a child outside at that point in time. But if she know and her sister know, and yeah, I mean, so what was the big mystery around this whole thing that you kept it a secret for this long? And so that the only
Yeah,
people that can answer that question is the
it's his
parents.
parents. And if I could just hypothesize and just bring up a theory behind it. If he's 57 years old, so that puts his parents in a time where a lot of stuff was hushed. Okay. So I would just me assuming that possibly maybe they didn't want their parents to know if they were getting married or something. Maybe they didn't want their parents to know, hey, I'm going to marry this guy. Or, maybe that was a thing they hid from a parent so that his mother could marry his father. Maybe that was the reason. And as
Right.
a woman, she accepted that, or whenever he did tell her, some women have that mindset where they want to be the only one. So she might have been able to just cut off the fact that he had a child somewhere else. I don't want to see him. I don't want nothing to do with him, and just act like our viewer that wrote in was the only child. So maybe that
But see,
was it.
I could rock with you on that, but for 57 years, that's a long time.
That
That's a
is.
long time. See, at some point in time, your parents are gone. So I no longer have, that's what I'm saying, that the secret tip around this whole thing, at some point, my parents are gone. So both parents are gone from both of these, the mother and the father. At this point in time, we don't have, who are we hiding it from? That's the question. Because see, it's
Oh, you're
not
talking
them.
about the parents of his parents, his
Yeah,
grandparents, you're
of,
meaning.
of the
Yeah.
husband and wife, the mother and father. Okay, once their parents are gone, even if that was the case that you gave, then okay, this is 57 years later. See, at some point in time, within that 20-year period or even a 25-year period,
Mm-hmm.
then okay, we should have had a discussion. There should have been
Yeah,
something said then, because I mean, that's what I'm. The whole secret thing for 57 years is a long time, but the
it
aunts
is.
know. The aunts got
That's what I'm saying. The
proof.
aunts know. So so his father's sisters knows, and then his mother's sisters knows. At what point didn't you think possibly that might get back to him? And because I know me as if I went and told my sister something, and I know that later on it might be detrimental to my child, if my sister was to tell my child, hey, just letting you know that your mom, she did have another daughter, but gave her up for that. If that's something like, what? I have a sister. Yeah, if you have family members that know, then I think maybe your child should have known. Hey, you do have a brother, but he's fine. I don't know. I don't know. This is a tough one.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm
do
saying.
people actually take these kind of secrets to their grave?
But see, this is not a secret if your aunts know. So that's what I'm saying. So who are they trying to keep it from? Because in the span of 57 years, you offered that their parents, they don't want the embarrassment of their parents, but at some point their parents passed away. So at what point do I acknowledge this child? Do I acknowledge this child now, or when do I acknowledge that the child actually exists? That's what I'm saying. So that's what the only person that can answer this question is his parents, because
Yeah,
they're the
that
only ones that were there, unless, like I said, or even the young man's mother, whoever this person is, the mother might still be, well, maybe she was young, maybe that's what it was, because
that
maybe
could
she
be a
was
thing.
too young. I don't know. I'm shooting shots in the dark.
Trying to
No,
trying to find a reason why it was a secret, but like you're saying, if two aunts know on different sides of the family,
it
it
wasn't a
sounds
secret.
at this point, like you said, his grandparents would no longer be living. So it sounds like the secret, they kept it from him. They didn't want their son to know. The son that they had together, it sounds like they just felt like, oh, he doesn't need to know, kind of thing. But
But I'm more concerned with the other mother being hush, because that would have been, like I said, you got a child, and it's, well, like I said, back in the day, I guess they did that a lot. So I imagine
yeah, that's crazy. Why?
they had a different mindset with it. But
My Alexa wanted to talk, but no, my whole thing with that is I feel like possibly his mother at that time in her life probably wanted to be the other only one, and kind of pushed the knowledge of the other female and her son away, like, okay, I'm in your life
yeah,
now, let's not speak about her no more. I wonder if there's so many questions. I wonder if he actually
see,
took care of his other son.
Harper had a good question right there. That's
Okay,
the one. That's interesting right there.
go ahead and can you read
I,
it?
I could barely see it, but I seen it when it was one. I could see it big here, but when I put it on the screen, it gets small.
Okay, I'll read
And
it.
I'm curious if the new brother knows about the. I can't read. I can't get the weary brotherly love.
Okay, so she's saying that was the anonymous name
I
that
don't have my glasses
writer.
neither, so
Yeah, so I'm curious if the new brother knows about the. I'm assuming she wants to know, or this Harper wants to know if the older brother knows about the younger brother, pretty much the one who wrote in, the writer. Okay,
yeah.
she's wondering if they know about the writer. That's a good question. Yeah, I wonder that too.
That's what I'm saying, because he didn't come looking. So that's why it was only kept a secret between the siblings, because everybody else knew but them two. It sounded like, and that's what allegedly it sounds.
That's crazy. That sounds deceitful. It sounds like a movie, right? Sounds like a
No, but
Lifetime
that's what I'm
movie.
saying. But you were keeping a secret, but everybody know the secret. So it's not. That's why I said it ain't even wrong, because everybody knew the secret, but those two people. See, and so
So,
that's why, again, you're gonna have to have a real serious heart to heart talk with the father and the mother. Because if the aunts know, we know they know, but that's for another day. Because that's gonna be. I would love to be a fly on the wall to hear that though, because that's gonna be a good. We need to
listen,
get that one. We get that exclusive.
listen, I need to
That would be
update on
great.
that. I need an update on that. But again, my advice would be, because you never tell your source, right? So when somebody gives you information, you don't want to start family drama. So since his auntie on his mother's side confirmed it, and then his auntie on his father's side confirmed it, I wouldn't throw them under the bus. I wouldn't, so what I would do is say, hey, I decided to take a DNA test, a DNA and me, or whatever they're called. There's different ones today. And when I took it, I was taking it just to see, hey, because a lot of
But
people
wouldn't the
do it
other
just to
person
do
have
it.
to do the same thing though?
A lot of people do it just to do it. And you know what? That could be, they don't know he didn't take it. Yeah,
But
that
that's what I'm
person would
saying.
have
I
had to
don't.
take it.
How many people do you know actually took a DNA test just to be taken one though? So that's what I was
I do
saying.
know several people that wanted to know because they were told they were mixed with certain things and they wanted to know. People take it for
Well, you
different
talking
reasons.
about
So it's not
when it comes
odd.
to your history. Well, that's what I'm saying. But in order for that to happen, because see, they did not acknowledge this group of people, so a part of it had to be acknowledged, whether you had the last name. It's not, that's what I'm saying. So in other words, they would have to take a DNA, and the DNA would have to match. But he would have had to have taken the
The
DNA at some
brother would
point in
have
time.
had to take it. That's not odd. People do it all the time. People find their siblings all the time. That's
But
why I
that's what I'm
said
saying.
that.
But
So
he, if he don't know, because he don't have an auntie or any aunties, the father auntie or his mother telling him, okay, you got a brother out there. So that's what I'm saying. He's in the dark. He don't know nothing about this.
So, Luke, I'm saying that I would tell my parents. If I go to my parents, I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
say my aunts told me. I'm going to tell my parents, hey, one day I decided to take a DNA test, just to take one. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying. I decided to take a DNA test. We're talking if he's 57, his parents are up there in age. They probably, I don't know if people sit around, researching what DNA tests are. All he
Uh-huh.
has to do so that he doesn't bring up his two aunts who told him, all he has to say is, I just decided to take a DNA test,
I'm
and and
I'm
I
afraid you're gonna
discovered that there was I might have a sibling. Do you guys know
I'm
anything
afraid you're gonna
about
have to
that?
bring I'm afraid you're gonna have to bring that out. Because at this point in time, you ain't got nothing to lose. They gotta be said. They gotta be said who told me, because there's no way you can hide it. That's the whole thing. Because see, there's really okay, like I said, if he took care of the other child and nobody ever mentioned who his father was. See, this man does not know, so there's no reason for this man to go take any type of DNA because he was never even given any type of inkling that he could have a brother out there. And I know so many kids that are raised without fathers in that sense, and they don't go looking for the father, or they don't even think about the father on that level. So at this point in time, this man done moved on and might be living his life and happy
Yeah.
where he at. But
Well,
by the same token, like I said, I don't know if the mother's still living, because the mother could still be living at this point in time, just like the young man's mother
what
that
mother are
wrote the
you
letter,
talking about? His grandparents?
the sibling mother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the
No.
sibling mother could still be living too, and she would be the only other person that know the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Now, whether or not, see, at this point in time, I don't know where she was pulled, where they were pulled out of his life. Like, they didn't know the father had another son. I don't know. So at this point in time, well, there's not a story I could tell you to say you got a brother. So he wouldn't be looking for a brother. So I would have to
No,
go to
people
my
take
parents and tell
when
them
I
who
say a
told.
DNA when I say a DNA test. So people take them. I have friends who have taken them. Just some people do it just to do it to find out, what was
Yeah,
in my family. Some people do it. I have plenty of friends who have done it
to
just
trace your
because.
genealogy.
Yeah,
But
people do it just because. So you're not necessarily looking for a brother, but people have stumbled upon secrets like this from taking those DNA tests because
if,
their family members happen to take one. People, this is a thing. That's why I said he should use that. Now, if his parents lie, if his parents say no, there's no way you have a brother, whatever, then you get your aunt's permission. Am I able to tell them that you told me? Be like, okay, mom and dad, I know you're saying that I don't have a brother, but that's not what my aunt so and so said, or that's not what my aunt. Then it's not that you're trying to catch them in a lie, but okay, let the cat out of the bag now. I took a DNA test. You're saying that, okay, no, I don't have a brother. And then I would name drop. Then I would say, well, Aunt so and so told me I do. And it's funny because on dad's side, Aunt so and so said I do. So how come I have two aunts on different sides of the family telling
but
me
at
that
this,
I have a brother?
but at this point in time, like I said, the aunt shouldn't care, and nobody shouldn't care, because we at an age now. If the man 57, that's almost 60. Hey, let bygones be bygones. Right at this point in time, you just got to be real and say, well, this is what I was told. I heard this. I heard that I had a brother, because see, Any other thing you can't prove. And like I said, with the parents getting older, okay, things are going. Like my brother, I got a brother now that's 83. See, stuff is beginning to go. The memory, those things start to go on you a little bit as you get older, and things you don't recall just the same way. It takes a little time to bring it back. So at this point in time, you got to let the cat out the bag. I think you just have to go and say, well, Aunt such and such said this right here. And I was wondering, is there any truth to that? Because see, this is what I was told. Whichever aunt he don't like the most, that's the one you put it on. No, don't put your aunt under the table, but put both of
Oh
them out
my
there because
goodness.
you
That's
really
why I said, and that song keeps playing in my head from Step Brothers. Like, who gets the family Bible? Oh my goodness. And so Harper commented again. He can also sit with parents and go
you
over
didn't
end
read
of
the
life.
first one. The first one is on the screen, and I think that's the second one because I ain't seen
Oh,
that
okay.
one.
Okay, I didn't see that one. The first one says, I would reach out to the brother first to see where his head is, but that could be a mess too.
Yeah,
If he finds
it's
him,
gonna be.
and he might not know about him either. And okay, so Harper also said he can also sit with parents and go over the end of life plans and naturally ask if there are any other siblings. He
Yeah, I
can
like that
say
idea better.
he can say he has heard rumors around town that he had a brother. Oh yeah, you could say that. I heard
Yeah,
rumors around town. You don't even have to name drop any aunties.
yeah. I'm name dropping aunts. I'm like Aunt Pearlie. Aunt Pearlie, Aunt Betty told me straight up that you had some children. Is that true? That's what we need to get to. Because if I had a brother, y'all could have told me. Because we need to have this conversation. Why y'all didn't tell me back then? I'm having that conversation. I'm bringing out all the dirt. Aunt Pearlie about to get thrown under the bus. Aunt Pearlie
You
told
gonna be,
me
and you not gonna be invited to any more family functions.
that's
Oh
the
my
chance we got
goodness.
to take because you don't keep a secret for 57 years.
But it's not the aunt's fault. Why would you be name dropping your
Oh, it
aunts?
ain't
They
your
tried
fault,
to
but
help you out and
hey,
let you know.
hey, they shouldn't have told me if they
You
didn't
never
want me to
give up
tell
your
them.
sources. You don't give up.
Listen,
You
if you
talk
didn't
about you
want me
gonna
to,
tell on
you
your
didn't want
aunts.
me to drop dime. Don't tell.
Harper said that Luke is gonna go missing. See, now you're gonna have some aunts coming to get you.
You got to know.
And listen to the person who wrote in. At no way are we making fun of this situation because it is
That's a
definitely
serious
my heart
situation.
breaks for you because in this I really wouldn't know how to feel in a situation of finding out all these years later that I have a biological sibling out there.
Yeah, but
That is hurtful. And yes, we all are in agreement. Even the people in the chat are agreeing that you should have a sit down with your parents. However, that's going to be. If you're going to name drop your aunts that told you, like Luke said, or if you're going to say what
wow,
I said
man,
and say
because you're
that
gonna
you
have to do it.
decided to do a DNA test and your DNA results came back and said that you have 99.9% a sibling out there. So if you want to do that, that's also a way where you'll still be invited to family functions.
But you still, I think, like I said, seriously, you still gonna have to have that talk. And like I said, the only way you can, because they gonna wonder, okay, well, they gonna know anyway. You got it from somebody. There's no point in time they're gonna not know. That's the point I'm making. If you come up into these two older people and say, where, I got a brother, well, they know one of them had to tell. So you might as well put it out there. Because there's nowhere in the world you're gonna go with. They're not gonna fall for that DNA because that's like just they didn't
And
do that. So,
here's another
like I
thing
said,
you
when
can
I give
do.
my brother now things that he didn't never do, we talk about stuff like YouTube and stuff like that. See, he don't buy into that. He called YouTube the National Enquirer. See, so
Okay.
and that was a bunch of false news. See, so that's the way they think. So you're gonna have to, and they would know. Okay, if you got any inkling about the brother, somebody told you within the family.
And you know what? What this is what I would do. God forgive me for this thought. But what if you have some aunties and uncles that passed away? You can say, I had a
You don't
long
blame it on them.
conversation with Uncle so
You
and
don't put it
so.
on the
Is
dead.
I
That's
mean,
that's worse than that's worse than putting it on the live. You put it
oh,
on.
oops. I'm saying, I'm just trying to look out. I'm not trying to blame somebody who. I'm just saying, it's a family member that, okay, that's the sibling of. If they told me, we had a long conversation before they were going, and they
Mhm.
let me know that I have a brother out there. Let me read this in the chat. Everything 49 is hard for me to even say that football team, but everything 49ers, I have to stumble over it. And post game reaction said, every family has its secrets. Well, if my family has secrets like this, you guys better tell me now, because let's not wait. And I pray to God that I get to see 57, but I don't want to wait till then to hear about any deep secrets. Matter of fact, let me
That's
do
what
the
I'm saying.
DNA
But
test too.
that's
Yeah.
but for 50. That's what I'm saying. That's it. It's not really a secret, Mr. 49er guy, because if everybody else know, it's not a secret. So that's what I'm saying. The auntie know, and so the auntie's the one. Like I said, you can do like Shay said and put it on the dead aunties, which like
I'm
Harper.
sorry.
So
I take
Harper
that.
said,
I
"I'm gonna
feel
come up
bad because
missing."
Harper looks like she's laughing at, I don't know. She said she or something, but my thing is, I
She
would
said,
just
"I'm gonna
say
come
if
up
you.
missing. I might turn up missing, but the ghost gonna get you." I
Oh
run it.
yeah, maybe I take that back. That's why before I said God forgive me for that thought. But I'm
But
not
like
that
I said,
I'm gonna blame. Yeah, but who else are you gonna say? You're trying to tell on the auntie
but
that
that
told him, and I would
because
feel like I came to you and
time,
told you that not to go starting family drama though.
at this point in time, I'm almost 60 years old. So the auntie's got to be even older. At this point in time, the cat is out the bag. We're not dealing with children. This ain't no, okay, well, I ain't gonna talk to you no more next week because you told him that. We at the end right here. So we gotta, like I said, I mean, you gotta come clean because you gotta get a person that you got actual facts that are
Yeah.
saying this. Because I mean, if you go to them and say, I got a DNA test saying this, well, sometimes that's wrong. Sometimes that's not actually right.
So
Then you gotta go test it
you
again.
don't
You
think
gotta
they
go
would
through this.
tell the truth if he came to them and said that? I mean, you don't think they would
Well,
tell the
see, that
truth
that would
though?
make more of the truth come out because you're giving people they know that might know. See, so it's hard to dispute them and say, well, they don't know, and they still here to talk right now. So that's why I'm saying I wasn't being I'm being facetious and funny with saying go ahead and put your aunties out there, but you're gonna have to do that though. You are gonna have to do that because they know, and if they know, then that's the only reason I can go to them and say I know.
It sounds
So
like a whole
is
confrontation.
it true?
It
Yeah,
sounds like a
it's gonna be
confrontation. And you
messy.
know
It's gonna
something?
be a mess no matter how you cut it.
If we're gonna tell, and if we're gonna name drop aunties, I would go a step further. I would have them both on a FaceTime call. I would have them on a FaceTime call already on
No,
the
you got
phone.
to
I
you gonna have
listen
to
where
go
my
down there and
parents
sit with
didn't.
them face to face.
Listen, I'm talking about I would be in my parents' face. I would physically be in front of my parents. I would ask them, but my aunties would be on a FaceTime call in squares, in a FaceTime call, in my
Um,
pocket or something, hearing the conversation. Soon as they start denying it, I'll take my phone out and both aunties, come on, y'all know that's not
see,
true now.
that's a
Listen,
bird of another feather right there. I'm not going to touch that one because see, making people confess in front of folks that's entirely different. But as long as I say they said it, I can go with that. But you know what? When they see the call coming, they were like, "Yep, I'm answering that."
Harper said the same thing I said earlier. So if the aunties don't tell the truth, let me see. If the parents, okay, here we go. If the parents don't tell the truth, then drop the dime on those aunties. So yeah, I would name drop after the fact. I would go over there and say, "Hey, DNA test." If they were
I
to
don't think you
lie
got to
about
do
it,
that.
then I would say the aunts' names.
I don't think you're gonna have to do that because when he tell them what he knows, there's only a small group of people that would know. When you tell them that you know, they would know, and if they know he talked to these people and have still in contact with these people, they're going to know. So there's not
Yeah,
a you're going to have to drop it because they know already. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. This secret wasn't kept. The secret was kept for 57 years. And these people know. and they've been knowing for 57 years. Okay, the only people that know are these people that's still here. That the mother, the aunties, and
The
his
father
father. They're the only
and
ones that
any
know.
other
And the
sibling
little boy's mother, or
and
the
any other
older,
siblings that
not
they
little boy,
may
the
or may
grown
not
man.
have. They might have other siblings still living too. So I don't think you're just going to tell one sibling that you have a child somewhere. I'm sure all of their siblings probably know, and that means all those people kept it, but they probably were going to wait till he
Well,
found out.
maybe they
Like,
didn't have nobody to tell it to. Maybe they didn't feel they needed to tell him at that point in time. The other sibling, like I said, you do have family secrets that go on, but I don't know no family secret that go on for 57 years. That's a usually the cat is out the back within the next 20 years, like But I had never seen a 57-year secret where the people, the
kept
aunties
it.
in them are telling you, but like I say, and they know these are the only people that could confront the families and
Yeah.
say, well, yeah, what about the little guy that whatever they used to call him Junior? That's who Junior, for instance. What
Yeah.
about Junior? Yeah, and so that's the because if they seen him, see, if they seen the boy, that's why I'm dropping down because
Yeah.
they got
That's
ocular
probably why
proof.
they can speak on it.
I
Maybe
can
they
I
seen him
can
in
say,
real
yeah,
they
I
might have
met
seen
him.
him in real life. Yeah. Wow. Hmm.
But that's another question you have to ask your auntie. Did they see him? Did they come in contact with him, or have they ever seen him? Because again, you're gonna have to. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but you got to throw the aunties up under the bus. They're gonna definitely go up under the bus.
And
I hope
you want
they
to
ain't
know
looking for no
something?
inheritance.
You want to know what else that just besides the song from Step Brothers, if I can get that song "Who Gets the Family Bible" out of my head, but what else? Well, something else just popped in my head about the older brother. Think about that for a minute. If you find out you had a younger brother that actually lived with your father, had a whole family, and
Yeah,
I was with my mother and you just pushed me aside, but you raised a whole son. So in his life, he could have been thinking, okay, my father didn't want me. But yet, then you find out, okay, I have a 57-year-old younger brother who
but see,
actually got to live with my father for his younger years and stuff. And then it's like a feeling of neglect. It's like you're opening up a lot of cans here, you
no,
know,
because he might reject this brother because he was with the father. So there might be
because he
some
was with the
rejection
father.
coming
Yeah.
from that child, that particular. I want to say child because it's a grown man, but this particular grown man, he might even reject him. But at this age, I don't see where he could because now we're more mature. But I can imagine if we were both 19 and I'm just finding out he had a son he actually took care of and he didn't take care of me. Well, yeah, there will be some animosity
Yeah.
when we got together because it would be um, just different because like I said, well, why you didn't take care of me, or why did you pick his mother over my mother? It would be a
Yeah,
whole
that's
mess. But
true.
in that they in their 60s or almost 60, I'm hoping they have a mature type mindset to just let bygones be bygones and try to figure out where you go from here.
Yes. Yep. So that would be my advice too. You need to have a sit down. If anything, you need to sit down with your parents, and this needs to be a thing because it sounds like there's hurt here. And like I said, we all have an appointment one day where we're all gonna leave this earth, and you don't want that hurt to just stay with you while your parents, or however that looks. You
But
know,
it ain't the hurt that you worry about; it's the
some
fight that's gonna
wrongs need
happen
to
after
be
that.
some wrongs need to be made right because he has knowledge of it. He needs to have a sit down and get an understanding on why that wasn't told to him, to give closure for this whole thing. And if he chooses to go look for that brother, then I don't blame you. I probably would too. Now if he doesn't receive you, okay, but at least you tried, because you might have some nieces and nephews out there, and your family now is going to be bigger than just you, where you thought you were the only child. And so now you have somebody that you can actually look for and begin begin a new chapter. It's never too late as long as you have breath. You're 57 years old, but you're finding out that you have a brother. That's wow. There's so much
That's a lot to
time that you
digest.
guys missed out on, and so I'm praying that everything works out. And please follow up with us, how it goes, how everything goes going forward.
Yeah, because that's gonna be a battle. It's gonna be a battle, but like you said, the laws. Well, Harper said it goes to the oldest in Pennsylvania, I believe. So
Yes, that's
um,
what. Yeah,
that's something to think
that's.
about
It
too.
sounds like a
So
lot of legalities with that too, with their estate and everything, because you have to think about that. If he's 57, they're up in age. Yeah. So what's going to come
yeah,
of that?
I could also see where that older sibling might not want nothing from it anyway, because he might have some animosity because he didn't do right by him. But it could go either
But
way.
we
I could
don't
also
know.
see where they
He
could be
could have
like, yeah, I
been.
want all of it because I didn't get none of it. You at least got to see him and hang around him, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this. I can see
But
that
we
too.
don't know. We don't know because I've seen plenty of movies. I know you brought up Frankie Lyman, but I've seen other movies that kind of portrayed the life of some of the famous people and people, or older people back in the day. They would just give the hush money, like money to the baby's mom, or and have a whole life and wife at home. But so maybe his father was sending money for the little boy, or he's not a little boy anymore, but maybe he
Sure.
was taking care of his child. We don't know that part. We don't know the whole story. That's where he needs to sit down with them and find all that out. But this was a good letter. I do appreciate you for writing into us. Brotherly love from PA. Thank you so much for writing into us. And I pray that everything works out. But definitely have a sit down with your parents.
You're gonna have to. That's gonna have to happen. That's without mentioning that I need to go down, and I will go down there and sit for about a week with them and
A
just talk.
week. A
Yeah,
week. I
because
don't
see,
know
it's
if
not.
I'm going to sit in the house for a week. They might have wanted that secret to go. I'm not going to sleep in under the same roof.
But
I want
that's
to
what I'm
see my
saying. But
niece
in
and
order
roll
to go
out.
down there, it's not something that you're gonna go down there and go, "Hey, well, do I got a brother?" And they're gonna go, "Well, yeah, you do," and it's gonna be over. I'm saying I would go down there with the mindset of staying a week with them, just talking to them, because there's bound to be some stories around this that you just ain't gonna get in one day that you go down there. It's gonna take a minute, but because one thing it's gonna take a minute for them to come to truth with it.
Yeah.
They're not gonna just go, oh yeah, I forgot about little Junior. Yeah, Junior, I remember him. No, it's not. That's not. That don't, it never works out that way. Because at
Yeah.
first it's gonna be some I can't. I really still don't want to talk about it, and then it's gonna be okay. Well, let me tell you the truth. That's gonna take
Yeah.
you. I don't say I hope not. It probably might take you longer than a week, but at the same time, this is how that works. But I wouldn't go down there expecting to go down there and go, hey, I got a brother, and they go, yeah, okay, good, I'm good. But like I say, I would go down there, sit down and talk with them, spend some time with them, get to know them better, uh, and understand what happened in there, and then go from there.
Yes. We
But
thank you so much for
we
tuning
wish you the
in.
best.
Again, thank you so much for writing us. And I hope that we gave you valuable advice. Please go sit with your parents and work this out. And I'll be praying for you. Please update us on, the conversation and how it went. And always at Luke and Shay's place, we just want to say a positive mentality is a destined reality. Your mental health is important. Stay positive, surround yourself with positivity. There's so much going on in our country. Just stay focused. Don't binge watch the news because that's going to cause stress. Just please, your mental health is important. But thank you so much for tuning in. Like,
And
share,
don't
and subscribe.
and don't tell your aunties I said throw them under the bus. Don't mention my name. Just do it. Don't have them coming after me. But God bless, and I hope this thing do work out for you, brother. I hope everything works out in your favor too. So that's I'll keep you in my prayers as well. I'm gonna keep you lifted in my prayers that work out, and that hopefully you two guys can come together and be brothers now and enjoy the rest of your lives together. That's the main thing. Because at the end of
A
the day,
nice
that's what it's
reunion,
all about.
yes.
Well, God bless and everyone take care. Till next time, we'll see you on the next Luke and Shay space. Place.